Forget the fairy tales. Forget the shining armor, the romantic hero sweeping in to save the princess. That image is a beautiful lie. What if I told you that the journey to earn that armor was a nightmare, a systematic soul-crushing process designed to break a boy down and rebuild him into a weapon? A journey so brutal it would shatter most modern men before they ever even lifted a sword. Because before the glory, there was the grind. Before the chivalry, there was the cruelty. In this video, we will uncover the 7 brutal stages of a knight's training. A process so demanding you'll question everything you thought you knew about these medieval icons. Stage 1, the exile. The page, age 7. Imagine you are 7 years old. Your life as you know it ends. You are sent away from your home, your parents, your entire world to live in the castle of another lord. You are now a page. This isn't school. There are no summer holidays. Your life becomes one of endless servitude. You learn to serve at the table, to care for the lord's clothes, to run messages through sprawling, confusing castles. You learn basic literacy and chess, not for fun, but as lessons in strategy. But most importantly, you learn your place. You are at the bottom of a brutal hierarchy. You learn to endure loneliness, to obey without question, and to watch. You watch the knights, you learn their names, their heraldry, their tempers. Your childhood is sacrificed on the altar of ambition. Stage 2, the servant of steel, the squire, age 14. If you survive your years as a page at around age 14, you graduate to the next level of torment. You become a squire. The servitude becomes deadlier. You are assigned to a specific knight. You are his personal attendant, his valet, his porter, his shadow. Your primary job, keeping his armor and weapons in perfect condition. That means hours of scouring rust, sharpening blades, and polishing steel until it shines. A single spot of rust on his sword could mean a vicious beating. In battle, you are his assistant. You carry his spare weapons. His shield, you help him if he is unhorsed. You are essentially a human shield and a battlefield caddy thrust into the terrifying chaos of combat without the full protection or status of a knight. You feel the terror, you smell the blood, but you do not get the glory. Stage 3, the agony of the blade weapon training. This is where the real pain begins. As a squire, your body is conditioned through relentless, agonizing training. Forget sword fighting movies. Your first sword isn't even steel, it's a heavy bruising piece of wood. You spend countless hours a day striking a wooden post or pell, learning footwork and blade control, until your muscles scream and your hands are covered in splinters. Then you graduate to the quintain, a spinning training dummy with a shield and a counterweight. If you hit the shield incorrectly or too slowly, the entire apparatus swings around and smashes into you. It is a spinning, bruising lesson in failure designed to teach you speed and precision through pain. You learn the lance, the mace, the axe, until each weapon feels less like a tool and more like a scar on your own body. Stage 4, the 4-legged weapon horsemanship. A knight on foot is just a man in a metal can. A knight on horseback is a shock weapon, a medieval tank. But mastering this 4-legged weapon was a brutal art form in itself. You didn't just learn to ride, you learned to become one with a beast weighing over 1,000 pounds, bred for war and aggression. You learned to control it with just your legs and body weight while your hands were busy with a lance and shield. You practiced jousting, charging at full speed towards another rider, aiming a 12-foot pole of solid wood. The impact was enough to shatter bone and send men flying. One mistake didn't just mean your death, but the death of your incredibly expensive and valuable warhorse. After years of this torment, after proving your worth through sweat and blood, you approach the final gate. But the physical tests are not over. First, you must pass a test of the soul. Stage 5. The Vigil. The Soul's Test. The night before you are knighted, you undergo the Vigil. You are stripped of your squire's clothes, ritually bathed, and dressed in simple white robes. You are then led into a cold, dark chapel. You spend the entire night alone in prayer. No food, no water, no sleep. You are to meditate on your sins, on the sacred duties you are about to undertake, and on your own mortality. It is a psychological crucible designed to break any remaining arrogance and instill a sense of divine purpose. It's the final stripping away of the boy to make room for the knight. Stage 6. The first shock, the reality of combat. This is the climax of your entire existence up to this point. Whether in your first battle or your first tournament, all the training, all the theory meets a terrifying reality. After years of hitting wooden posts, you now face another human being whose only goal is to smash you into the dirt. The roar of the crowd, the thundering of hooves, the jarring impact that rattles every bone in your body. It's a sensory overload designed to induce panic. And here is the most brutal truth, the one they don't tell you in the stories. Tournaments weren't just a sport. They were often brutal, full-contact affairs that could be lethal. More than that, they were business transactions. A knight could be captured and held for a massive ransom, bankrupting his family. The honor was a thin veneer over a brutal commercialized form of violence. If you survive the vigil, if you prove yourself in combat, you kneel. A lord taps you on the shoulder with a sword and utters the words, "Arise, Sir Knight. You have made it." But this is the final cruel joke. The training is never over. Stage 7. The endless war. The burden of knighthood. Becoming a knight isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new lifelong test. The armor is no longer just something you wear for training. It is your identity. You are now a lord, a leader, a judge, and a target. You are bound by the code of chivalry, a complex and often contradictory set of rules that you are constantly at risk of breaking. You are responsible for the peasants on your land. And at any moment you can be summoned by your king to go to war, to leave your home and risk everything on a bloody battlefield hundreds of miles away. So the 7 stages are not just a ladder you climb and finish. They are a cycle. A stolen childhood gives way to agonizing training, which leads to the shock of real combat, which finally lands you in a permanent state of responsibility and mortal danger. The shining armor wasn't a symbol of glory, it was a cage forged in pain, polished with servitude, and locked by a sacred lifelong vow. So when you picture a knight, don't ask if you'd want to be one. Ask yourself, could you truly survive becoming one? So the next time you think of knights as noble warriors in shining armor, remember, they were trained through torment. Many never made it, and those who did were hardened beyond belief. We set out to uncover the brutal truth behind knight training, and now you know why you probably wouldn't survive even stage 1. What do you think? Could you have made it to knighthood? Drop a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more forgotten truths from the medieval world.